I am desperate to tell you about one of my favorite pieces of media that I have consumed in a long, long time. I've gone back and forth about whether to include this bit because it's vulnerable, but it's the honest place to start, so I'm going to do it. When I was a preteen, I did not fit in my small town. I was the weirdo who did an interpretive dance to Kate Bush's Wuthering Heights for the sixth grade talent show. I was the only vegetarian I knew my age. And during this time in my life, I read a lot of interviews with Ryder Strong because he was a vegetarian, he was an environmentalist, and he was artsy. He was an art nerd. He seemed like proof that it was possible to be all of those things and still be liked. So when he released Red Weather, I hit play out of both gratitude and nostalgia. But it was to my shock and delight that my nostalgia was quickly overtaken by professional awe. I teach and write about how genres shape our sense of what's possible and who can do what, and basically how they encode all of these different biases. And here's this piece of autofiction that uses genre, specifically the crime documentary, to skillfully think about how certain story structures normalize things like misogyny and racial bias. It's so precise and creative, and I'm obsessed. Ryder Strong is playing a fictionalized version of himself with such rich detail. You know, some of it is actually taken from his real life, but there's a fictional murder mystery in the middle. And the character of Ryder Strong is this kind of, I've seen him described as a bumbling detective online, and I think that that's kind of a fun description. It models not being perfect, but trying to do better in such an incredible way. It is show don't tell allyship in a way that could go wrong in so many directions, but never does because it's so well thought out and circumspect. It's feminist without ever lecturing. It examines the pitfalls in the true crime genre without exploiting a real victim. It examines red flags many men miss because those red flags are normalized. And it puts things like conversations about domestic labor and avoidance of conflict right next to questions about guilt and friendship and justice. For most of the time I was listening to it, I was like, this is great. And if it goes where I think it's going, I'm going to freak out because it's so amazing. And it did. I gasped out loud at today's episode more than once because this is a story where the twist is less about who done it and more about what stories have you been telling yourself that keep you from seeing the truth. As someone who has published about genre and the political work it can do extensively, this is the smartest genre work I've seen in years, maybe since Midnight Mass. And if you've been following me for a little while, you know what a high compliment that is. Please go listen to it and then comment on this so that I have people to talk to about it. Please tell me what the last piece of media you've consumed is that made you rethink some foundational things you thought you knew.